You've asked the honest question, does skill matter against someone bigger? The answer isn't mystical assurance or cynical dismissal. Here's what the data actually shows. Combat sports have weight classes for a reason, and research validates it. A 2022 study found heavyweight elite athletes bench press 117, 0 kg, while lightweights press 81, 0 kg, a 44% advantage in absolute upper body strength. That's not just lifting numbers. When a heavier athlete with more muscle mass throws a strike, the potential for damage scales exponentially. A 2023 meta-analysis quantified that elite straight punches can reach 3427 newtons of force at over 10 meters per second. Here's what matters. Size translates directly to force production. Your training must account for this reality. You cannot ignore the physics of mass and muscle cross-sectional area. They are real, measurable advantages that any larger opponent brings into a confrontation. Understanding this is the first step toward realistic preparation. Force alone tells only part of the story. Damage depends on pressure, force divided by contact area. A fist punch concentrates force through 4 to 6 cm2 of knuckle surface. A palm strike spreads across 40 to 50 cm2, 10 times the area. An elbow strike delivers through just 2 to 3 cm2, generating the highest local pressure. When a larger athlete generates 3,400 newtons through a fist, pressure at impact approaches 57 to 85 megapascals. That exceeds the fracture tolerance of facial bones and threatens skull integrity. Forensic biomechanics confirms serious injuries from strikes of this magnitude, even from untrained individuals. Here's why this matters for you. The smaller your striking surface, the more damage you can inflict regardless of your size. This is where technique becomes your equalizer. A 2020 study introduced the concept of effective mass, the portion of body mass actually behind a strike at impact. Trained athletes achieve higher effective mass through coordinated kinetic linkage, force from the legs, transferred through the core, delivered through the striking limb. Larger athletes benefit doubly. They start with greater absolute mass, and their larger skeletal structure provides a more efficient framework for transferring that mass into the target. Correlation coefficients between body weight and impulse range from 0.39 to 0.80 depending on technique. Here's your takeaway. You can increase your effective mass through proper mechanics. When you learn to link your entire body into a strike, you deliver more mass than your arm alone. That closes the gap between you and a larger opponent. Damage potential also depends on how quickly energy transfers. A 2022 study of ground and pound techniques revealed that different strikes produce characteristic force-time curves. Elbow strikes generate a double peak force profile. Initial impact followed by a secondary surge as the striker's mass continues forward. Larger athletes with greater momentum, mass times velocity, sustain force delivery over longer impact durations. This increases total impulse, cumulative force applied to the target, which correlates directly with structural damage, including bone fracture and traumatic brain injury. Here's what this means for your training. You must learn to drive through the target, not just slap at it. Commit your mass. Extend the impact duration through follow-through. This maximizes the damage from every strike you deliver. Now the critical question. Does skill overcome size? The data says yes, when properly applied. Skill is not magic. It's the systematic development of mechanics that maximize your effective mass, optimize your pressure distribution, and extend your impact duration. A trained 70 kg athlete can deliver more force than an untrained 90 kg opponent because of superior kinetic linkage. Research shows that trained athletes achieve effective mass percentages far higher than untrained individuals. Your technique allows you to put more of your body weight behind each strike. Your footwork creates angles that negate reach advantages. Your timing disrupts the larger opponent's power generation. This is not mystical. It is mechanical. Skill is the force multiplier that narrows the size gap. Your training must address size disparity directly. First, develop full-body linkage through drills that emphasize hip rotation, core engagement, and weight transfer. Second, practice targeting vulnerable areas, throat, eyes, groin, knees, where pressure thresholds are low regardless of opponent's size. Third, train for impact duration by striking heavy bags with committed follow-through, not just snap. Fourth, spar against larger partners under controlled conditions to calibrate your timing and distance management. Fifth, condition your striking surfaces, knuckles, palm heels, elbows, to withstand the reactive forces of impact. Each of these elements builds a skill set that functions independently of your size. The goal is not to match strength. It is to apply force more efficiently than your opponent can apply theirs. Size is real, strength matters, but skill is the only variable you control. Train systematically and you change the equation.